Hi, Copper Piso here. What is theology? Many people don't realize what theology is. Everybody talk about theologians and all this. Well, all this emanates from the brain. We are born lacking belief. You don't see it since 3,000, 40,000 years ago. We evolved mutated primates. We are born tabula rasa. In other words, zero beliefs in the brain. It's like a blank tape recorder. And then because during printing period, we start learning the language of our parents, we learn our bodies and start using the senses, the five senses, and start trying to differentiate between fantasy and reality. When we are young, we don't know. We believe believe Mickey Mouse is real. We believe the Tooth Fairy are real. We believe in angels. We believe in boogeyman. We believe in tooth fairies, Santa. They're real. The same thing happens with religious people. People that believe in God and demons and all that. There's thousands and thousands of religious beliefs throughout the whole planet. Thousands of them. Now, are those beliefs downloaded from an omnipotent intellectual or intelligent designer or God? Or we create it simply with our brains via electromagnetism and neurons and axons and all the mechanisms that compose our brain, just biology mechanisms that evolved with mutations. Because we are product of mutations. We are product of a sperm and egg with genetic material that mutated. And we have mutations, I'm not identical to my dad or my mom, no. I'm a product of both of them, a mutation, genetic mutation. Some people have problems with their hearts and suffer from Alzheimer. They are born with a bunch of wrinkles, with a bunch of spots, different things. 3 arms sometimes. Genetic malformations is of course evolution. It's all evolution. It's just it's a copy through the DNA with the 4 different proteins. And that's a fact. So there is no God. People that believe in God are theotards. They're stuck in the past. They have a problem with the brain. There's no God. When we die, we cease to exist. And we just, nothing wrong with that. Everything is in our brains. Where were you in 150 years ago? You didn't exist. Where were you? Were you someplace? Did you have a soul? No. The soul is a kind of is a concept that the ancients had, which defined the air, the atmosphere, the air we breathe. When we capture the air, it was sacred. The air was sacred. All the stars that floated in the spirit world. The birds floated in the spirit world. The insects floated. They had no idea in those days that we created thoughts and the mind with our brains. No. They believed all the thinking was done with the heart. That's what the emotions were felt. Somebody say that God is love. I said God is a psychosis. Because God and hate, love and hate are emotions created by the brain. I can give you a chemical and make you love me. Or make you hate me by manipulating the temporal love. So where is God at? No. God is a product of a schizophrenic, malfunctioning brain, or a very ignorant one. If a person is very intelligent, very well educated, and believes in God, he has a problem. He's believing in the Mickey Mouse or the Tooth Fairy are real. In other words, it's slightly delayed. It's like it's a form of retardation, but with an intellect. It's like a savant. A savant might know every date and everything, in the history. He will have encyclopedia in the brains, but had no idea about brushing his teeth or plain mundane things like that. Zero, because it's in the brain. High mathematical formulas is pretty amazing. Doesn't mean that he's intelligent. Yes, he has an adaptability. His brain understands mathematics, but that's it. Nothing else. That's a savant. And people that believe in God, they have a problem with the brain if they're educated. If they believe in God and the Tooth Fairy and all this bunch of Allah, Jesus, demonic possession and all that. And if they are educated, they're no different than a schizophrenic. Same thing. So if anybody would argue with me at this point, I simply can take them to a neurology lab, put them on the MRI, stimulate the temporal lobes, so give them certain drugs, and you'll see that I completely control that person's brain. He can pray to Jesus all he wants, or Allah, or any other thing, and I'll change his brain. Manipulating, what does it leave us? The idea of God. It does not exist. It's a product of our brain to cope with the reality and the hardships of life. That's what it is for. See? Any other animals that don't have the cognition like we have, they don't give a shit about gods, about demons, about life after death. They go around very normal, living their lives and dying and being eaten by other animals and suffering disease, and they are normal. And they exist. And they all have the same thing like we have. They all have cells, and they all compose with DNA. They all have a brain, they all have eyes, and they have noses, and they have hearing. Everything. Except that we are more evolved computer. But we have a problem. Because we create these little gods and this nonsense and this supernatural mumbo-jumbo with our brains. Just like the schizophrenics do. So a religious belief is just another form of schizophrenia, a neurological disorder. But nobody wants to admit it. But it's reality. So that's one of the biggest problems in the world today, in discussing a really tremendous problem. The only true person, the only true believer, and I mentioned that to Christians, so you follow in the example of the suicide bombers. They truly believe. They're very educated. Like Muhammad Atta, that flew that plane over the Twin Towers. All this highly educated. They got into this plane. They knew that in the moment that they killed the infidel Christian crusader in the United States, because so everything is revenge from the Crusaders when they're occupied for 300 years, massacring and burning and killing the Christ killer, the Jews, and all these people in the 11th century. And that's a revenge, because we've invaded them, and then we saw the stupid Christian missionaries to play these infected, psychotic people, despicable, trying to impose their stupid garbage of Christianity to people that already have their own fairy tales and their own beliefs. And I wish they chopped their heads off. I mean, they don't belong there. Like the guy in China, the South Korean, not in China, South Korean, that went over there to North Korea, this Christian retard, to impose their garbage to everybody over there. They should chop his head off. And great. If somebody's over there in places that don't belong to corrupt the mind of people over there, they should be punished, and they should actually abide by the rules. And they should be executed. So let's say if a zombie, Jesus saves them. So this is basically the problem nowadays, is this imposition of the garbage of the psychosis of Christianity to others. But the true believer is the one that dies for the faith. And so far, the only ones that prove us that they do believe in Allah and the precepts of Quran and all the religions are basically the Muslims. Christians are cowards. They're deluded cowards. They don't put their money where their mouth is. Come on, guys. Why live in the planet Earth? You have a life after death, being with Jesus for eternity and all that. Oh, you go and kill yourself. Have a big cross and let it fall on you, a bunch of them. You go to heaven, right? You're a bunch of cowards. Come on. Since you don't believe in, the other people are true to their faith, well, you're the ones that are not true to your faith. You're hypocrites. Go over there and kill yourself. Commit suicide. Holy cyanide, or all those pills, and you go automatically. You abandon your body and you rapture yourself and go to Jesus for eternity. How much fun! Pace di oro.